Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special edition of my favorite show. It's called The Forbes Factor. One of the things that I love doing that completely changed my life was getting on stage and public speaking. Now, for some people, it terrifies them. And for me, it did in the beginning as well. I saw some great speakers. I saw the Les Browns of the world and Tony Robbins and just big, amazing people, Brene Brown. And I thought, oh, I can't be that good. I was an actress. I could say other people's words. How would I ever do my own? Well, I invested hundreds of thousands of dollars and lots of time, trainings and courses. And one day, I just decided I'm going to step on stage and do it. And it changed my life. I've been doing it for almost 30 years now. And I will say that I have taken the leap where I now teach other people. You don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you do need some good, solid training, understanding what signature stories are, understanding the mechanics of speaking. And I recently graduated one of my classes. It's 12 weeks long, and it is called Next Level Speaker Certification. All the information on that will be down below. And I've got to tell you, I worked long and hard. It's been a couple of years of refining this. And this last class was extraordinary. And as a bonus, out of all of our speakers, we picked the top ones to share with you just so that you could get some insight into some different topics. We're going to call it Ultra Mini TED Talks. So they'll be about 3 minutes each. And I promise one is better than the other. I have no particular order that I'm going to go in. I've got all my graduates standing by. I'm very excited. And I'm thinking if I roll the dice, I'd love Anna to go first. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce each one of them. And I just hope that you enjoy it as much as we all did. So I'm going to give the stage over to the one and only Miss Anna J. Lewis.
Thank you, Dr. Riley, for this opportunity to share. I'm so excited to be here with you today. This is such a pleasure. It's like a dream come true. So I'm thankful. I am Anna J., known as the Confidence Boosting Diva, because as someone who's lived 76 years behind the scenes, sowing my gifts and talents into the manifestation of someone else's dream, I realized I don't have to be behind the scenes to share and serve others. So I'm encouraging myself and other women to realize if you're caught in that lie that you're not good enough, that your voice wasn't meant to be heard, that you don't matter, just realize that it's a lie. It's so important to me to empower women to realize that as long as you have breath, every day is an opportunity to manifest your God-given destiny. I've spent my life serving others, and now it's time for me to shine. It's time for me to share my voice, to share my message, to have my face seen and known so that I can empower women to realize that they can unlock their destiny, that they can empower themselves, that they can release what doesn't belong to them. I want to empower women to recognize, acknowledge, and ignite their inner beauty and power to step into their greatness. And I have a book. It's Reboot Your Life. That's a beautiful place to start. And it's available at freegiftfromanaj.com. Freegiftfromanaj.com. I serve women 40 and over, empower them to step into their greatness. It's time to reboot, ladies. It's time for a fresh start. Thank you so much, Forbes, for this opportunity to share. God bless you guys.
Don't you just love this woman's voice? I'll tell you a really quick little story about Anna J. When I first met her, I said, you sound a lot like a female version of Les Brown. And then I happened to have Les Brown on the phone. And Anna J., what happened?
I was so excited, Forbes. I was excited because you were calling me. And when you put Les Brown on the phone, I thought I was floored. And then he told me I wasn't done yet. And I started explaining to him why I knew I wasn't done yet. I wasn't finished. It's like, you had to stop me. Come on, girl. Stop motor mouthing, receive what he's saying. He was speaking prophecy over me, and I received it. It was so beautiful for us. I'm still waiting for that recording because I know you got it.
Yeah, didn't say, all right. Well, he literally just said it was so nice to hear a female version of me, and he was so gracious. One or two, just quick sentence about what does it mean to be in our community?
This community has changed my life. This community is so full of love, and people give and stand by and help and lend a hand. And you, Forbes, you're so transparent about what you do, and you always over deliver, and you're determined that we be successful. You don't find that normally. You don't find the love that's in this community, the unity, the one accord. It's just that's just a place of love, and it's like I don't want to be any place else. I don't ever want to lose this connection, and so I'm so grateful to you for the love that you share and for the love that you give to me.
And
Thank you
I
for.
also I appreciate the mission that you're on to help other women. You guys, you want to check out Anna J. I'm going to put all the links in all the notes that you'll be able to get the books and get all the things they're talking about. So don't stress if you're too busy just smiling your eyes off and going, "Oh my God, I love these people." So all right, next up we have got the one and only. She's a very intuitive, beautiful woman. My pleasure to introduce Christine Sumner. Come on up.
Thank you so much, Forbes, for having me. And Anna J, what a beautiful job. You are definitely shining your light. I'm wondering how many of you out there have ever asked yourself the question, should I stay or should I go? And if you've had that question about any area of your life, did you know that you can move from confusion to clarity by getting clear on your desires? In December of 2021, I asked myself this very question. Should I stay in this home, in this marriage where love was no longer being demonstrated and I was no longer becoming the best person I could be? In fact, I often wished to die. I wanted my children to know what love was and what love wasn't. We get what we tolerate. So I chose to live. So glad I did. And I packed my bags and I left my home because I dreamed of a better, brighter future for us all. Over the next 3 years, I underwent unbelievable heartbreak. I had two near-death experiences, a traumatic brain injury, a severe car accident, and a surgery to remove a head and neck tumor. All of this back to back in a 3-month period as I was missing my boys so deeply, words can never express. My ex-partner at the time chose to file for child support when I was primarily a stay-at-home mother with limited ability to work at this time. We all make mistakes. What you do to the mother, you do to the child. There's no separation. With no access to my finances, I was thrust into poverty, not even able to get financial assistance due to assets that weren't even in my name. I thank God for my mom and dad. So I'll ask you again, should you stay or should you go? I'm known as a direction designer because I'm someone who inspires people to find their path in their darkest hours. I'm not sure how I survived, but apparently to do this, to learn from Forbes and all of my classmates, to inspire you to gain clarity where there's confusion, to follow your heart when all the voices around you say, stay right where you are, where you're no longer growing or thriving. So, what's the first step to this clarity? You may ask. Step one is surrender denial and accept your circumstances. Step two is to get clear on your desires. And step three is to imagine receiving the relationship, the home, or whatever it is, the job that you desire. What does that feel like? So Forbes is sharing our links. Please download the desire checklist and follow these steps in my checklist. And when someone else asks you, should you stay or should you go? There'll be no more I don't knows. So again, thank you, Forbes, for having me here today. I really appreciate it.
How beautiful and elegant. Let me ask you a question. People didn't know you before as a speaker. They know you now. What's been the biggest growth for you?
Confidence. And I was praying for a teacher to help me grow my business, and they sent you to me. So I'm very grateful. Such a role model and modeling love, family, business, and your heart is what stuck out to me the most.
I received that, and I am so grateful that you would think to say that. It does my heart really good. When you're Your message is so profound. Now that you have the ability to speak and you really get that sense, what's your hope for other people listening to this and in terms of inspiring them?
That they're inspired and they're not afraid when to follow their heart, when their heart is telling them whether they're not in a good place, there's something better, they have a dream that maybe they need to step into. It's a huge leap of faith, but if you take that step forward, I do believe the universe meets you, because I wouldn't be sitting here today with all these lovely people in you, Forbes, if I did not listen to my heart.
And that is what I'm loving hearing. All right, up next, she doesn't look it, but this wonderful, amazing woman, to me, she looks like a little girl, I just want to hug her, is a mother of 7. And she graciously wears that badge and an inspiration for others. Please welcome Miss Ashley Balza. Mrs.
Thank you, Forbes. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. And I want to ask you a question. When was the last time that you felt like you were truly in control of your own life? For many of us, the answer is we can't even remember. We wake up every day running on autopilot, juggling 1,000 responsibilities. We tell ourselves, just keep going. Sacrifice just a little more. But at what cost? If you're anything like I was, you felt it. The exhaustion sinks into your bones. You feel the tightness in your chest, and your mind whispers, I just can't do this anymore. That's burnout. If you're sitting here today feeling burned out, stretched thin, and ready to snap, I want you to know that you're not alone. I'm Ashley, also known as the self-care mama, and I've been there. As a mom of 7 and a wife, I thought I had to carry the weight of the world on my shoulders. I believed that asking for help meant that I was weak, that I had to wear this like a badge of honor. But here's the truth that nobody tells you. Burnout isn't a badge of honor. It's a warning sign. It's your body, mind, and your spirit all screaming for something to change. As someone who found herself laying in a hospital bed, hooked up to machines and chest tubes, I was ready to give up. They say that a picture can be worth 1,000 words. And if you saw a picture of where I was before laying in that hospital bed to where I am now, you would probably fall off your chair. As I began to break free from the burnout, I learned something so profound that I don't have to do it all, and neither do you. I wasn't just a better mom or wife or a leader because I sacrificed everything. I became better when I started showing up for myself. And you can too. So if you're sitting here feeling like the weight of the world is crushing you, I want you to ask yourself one thing. What is one step that you can take today to stop the cycle? Maybe it's scheduling 10 minutes of alone time. As I struggled to find that time for myself, I discovered many things, but most importantly, that I was worth it. Becoming a woman with strength and purpose through guiding other women to take back control of their lives and stand as the warriors they are. And you can too. You can gain access to my free ebook, 6 Tools to Reset, Recharge, and Reclaim Your Time at freegiftwithselfcaremama.com. Let's begin your new journey together. Thank you.
Oh, I don't know about you, but I cannot imagine you looking anything but spectacular. How did that feel to do that?
Amazing. Again, looking back from where I was to where I am today, as I said, you wouldn't recognize that same person. It's a completely different transformation. And I have you to thank for that, for pushing me to show up as the person that you saw within me, because I definitely didn't see it in myself all those years ago. So thank you.
Well, I love it, and I love watching you, and you should, and everyone. You guys can't see everybody in the background just cheering you on, and I'm absolutely loving that. All right, I'm going to tuck you back into the audience, and I'm going to bring up a gentleman who lives in my hometown. He's known as simply Eli the Book Guy. Hey, Eli, I'm going to step out and let you have the stage.
Hi, Forbes. Forbes, and your amazing company. Your guest, of the podcast. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate everything you are and everything you do. I want to say to them that there is something that every great leader and influencer and dreamer must do to become a visionary, like Leonardo da Vinci or the great Forbes writer. As a publisher, for over 25 years, I've worked with thousands of authors who, after writing their book, experienced great opportunities and crystal clarity. Now, I'm not talking about just any book. This type of books unlock doors for them, and writing yours is the same for you. Let me explain. There's a divine instruction that was given over 2,000 years ago. It says, write your vision and make it plain. And it goes on from there. But let's put it another way. Everybody dreams, but it's the visionary that down. Dr. Miles Monroe defined vision as foresight with insight based on how. Now, currently, you may be contributing your gifts and talent to someone else's vision, and there's nothing wrong with that. But one day you may internalize your own vision. And then what? I'll tell you that most people just sit on it, and they are called dreamers. But it's the visionary that takes it further. Here we have 4 keys to being a visionary. The first is to be open-minded to dreaming again. Maybe you stop dreaming, like most adults do. And the second is to write it down. Third is to take action. And fourth is to see it through to completion. This process will empower the dreamer to overcome major obstacles and gain success doing so. Please remember to write it down. It will do so many amazing things for you because writing is a major act of manifestation, which allows you to see it, develop it, and start to believe it deep in your heart. Then naturally, you begin to take action, which, if fear doesn't overtake you first, will bring you to true success. I'll tell you that fear had me going. Even as a publisher, I used to say, and I have the great excuse, I'm too busy working on everybody else's book to finish my own. So I don't have time to tell you everything that goes into this. There's so much, but I'll give you this. The great futurist Joel A. Baker wrote, vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision just passes the time, but vision with action can change the world. So write, and even if you don't publish it, it may be a journal or just a daily text, but please write. I want to see more visionaries out there. Thank you.
Wow, wow. You know what? First of all, the background, look at you, is just so spot on and elegant and so you. You have a style like nobody else does. Eli the Book Guy does books. He is a publisher. Eli, since you've popped into my community and you've witnessed all of this as a speaker, as a pitch guy, what have you seen? What would you tell someone else out there?
Wow. What I've seen, it's nothing less than miraculous. I believe that when people in your community are not thriving, there's something wrong. And what I've seen you do is to wake up people. Me, myself, my peers. I've seen you help them to take hold of their vision to take hold. I mean, you work us. Don't get me, listen. No matter what she says, it's not easy. She works our tail off, all right? She works,
Yep.
and that work empowers us. So thank you for empowering us. Thank you for giving that
love it.
your time.
Thank you. We've got two more amazing speakers, and we're going to bring the whole group down here for some chit chat. Miss Ellen Morano, come on down. The stage is yours. You know what? I cannot hear you. You are being beautiful, but there's no sound coming out. I know. So you may want to tweak something. This often happens sometimes when you're on your computer or whatever it is. She's not muted, but there's no sound. All right, so she's going to work on that for a second. Nope, I'm not quite sure what happened. You may have to go out and come back. Who knows? And I'm totally fine with that. But we are live. So while you're doing that, and that's okay, I would go out and come back or restart your system. Whatever you have to do, we'll bring you back, okay? And while you're doing that, I'm going to bring up the one and only Mr. Joseph Roth, who is also having computer issues. So he's joining us from his phone, or did he just fix his computer? Where are you now? Are you on a phone or where are you?
Hi, Forbes. You can't hear me okay?
No, I can hear you, but you put your phone so high up that now we're looking down on you, my friend.
Yeah, I've had to make a lot of adjustments. I'll do the best I can, but I
Well,
want
you
to thank
guys
you
are
for
doing
allowing me to be here. I will tell you what I really feel about Forbes Riley and the process afterwards, because I know that's going to come up. But let me introduce myself. I'm Joseph Roth, and I'm affectionately known as the mender to the genders. And you're going to see why in a moment. But by a show of hands, or let me ask you a question. Have you ever been frustrated or confused or even hurt by the opposite sex? Maybe your relationship is suffering because of that. Well, if that's the case, you're going to want to listen to this. See, I act as a relationship specialist, a mender to the genders, if you will, that guides men and women to finally understand one another. And you can probably relate to this story, but a woman wakes up in the arms of her husband on a lazy Saturday morning. She tells him, I just had the most fantastic dream. I dreamed of this necklace that was just unbelievably gorgeous. And on my wrist, there was this bracelet that was unmatched. I've never seen anything like it. And then there was this diamond ring that shone so brightly that the whole room just lit up. What do you think that means? Her husband looks down on her and says, babe, you just wait till your birthday. 2 weeks later, her birthday arrives. She flings over the front door, and on the couch is this beautiful present, beautifully wrapped. She runs to it with a big smile. She opens it up, and inside, a book, How to Interpret Your Dreams. For men, that's a perfectly logical choice, but for women, it's a complete disconnect. In fact, it's a disaster. But you see, women think, and men think, reason, and speak in different languages. Women speak in fem speak, men speak in what we call masculines. And it's a small wonder that we have all the misunderstandings, the friction, the hurt feelings. So I act as a bridge, as a translator between a man's logic and women's emotions, training men and women to think, to react, and dialogue. So now they're on the same page. And I can tell you this, much of the friction, much of the miscommunication is avoidable and unnecessary. But you see, no man or woman has ever been trained to see through the eyes of the opposite sex, not for 1 minute. So naturally, they're clueless, mostly, until now. As someone who's gone through massive hurts of broken relationships, including a divorce, I wanted that pain to account for something. My highly impactful workshops and boot camps are culminations of hundreds of hours of research, live interviews, and of course, my own personal experiences. And I can tell you there's nothing like it. I promise you. They're very deep. They can be very intense at times, but they're a lot of fun. Curious? Great. Drop on my website, glassslippercommunications.com. That's glassslippercommunications.com. And while you're there, grab a copy of my free ebook. It's called Thought Starters. And it has some excellent personal information in there for relationships. We can also go from there to an exploratory call. We can talk about speaking engagements, maybe a summit, even a workshop, catering to the business and corporate needs and relationships. I'm Joseph Roth, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Dang, have to share with you. I really get what you do now. That was the most perfect story. There was a book about how to interpret your dreams. That's freaking brilliant, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you, Forbes. I can barely hear you, so I think your
So
next question is going to be, what did I think of the training and
even
Forbes
if it
Factor?
wasn't, tell us how wonderful we are. Go for it.
Let me tell you how wonderful Forbes is. I've had the pleasure of working with this lady for 2 years now. As somebody just said earlier, she will kick your butt, but she does it in a very feminine and pleasant way. And what we get out of it is more than worth it. If you are considering anything along the lines of what she does, I've had other coaches, I've read other books. You're going to the best. I don't have to tell you anything more than that.
You know, I greatly appreciate you saying that, and I must be, because that everybody who was on the stage moved my heart. Oh, wait, Ellen's got to come back. Hang on one quick second before I get all emotional about this. So, Joseph, thank you for that lovely sentiment. I love our coaching. I love what we do. Ellen, come on up here, and let's make sure that you sound great. And no, there's no sound at all. You guys, can you hear her at all? No, I have no idea what's going on. Oh, well, you have about 15 minutes to figure that out. I'm going to bring everybody back on stage. Wait, say something?
This one.
Here you go. Oh, she did it. Yay. Everybody give her a big round of applause. I will be quiet and the stage is yours. Take a big breath.
Dr. Forbes Riley, I love you. You made me come out of my shell. That's what you said. From the cocoon, you made me fly. I've been teaching, but this is a different platform. My name is Ellen, and I'm known as the Mama Child Connector, because for someone who had to give away my child to my parents for babysitting, because I have to work. It was so painful and it deeply hurts. What happened was I was with him for 1 whole straight year from birth to 1 year old. Then I got accepted in a good paying job. So I have no choice but to consider that my step bringing him to my parents is for his future. Of course, we have stresses, the guilt comes in, but I'm a believer of the law of correspondence. So when my child came back 2 years after, he had tantrums, which is his form of coping mechanism, while I'm in a very stressful job. Then I learned that I have to heal myself first so I can relate to my child. So I learned that emotional stress could affect our physiology. That's the law of correspondence. We cannot say, I love you, child. But if there's no deep inside love, nothing is resolved. Like, I accept this, I recognize this, I have to release my hurt, I have to release my stress. And then now, what I've come up to is I'm learning this to my one-on-one clients. I shared all these techniques that I've learned. And then I teach this class every month, 2-day class. And then I also have online classes if you want to learn more about how I bridge the gap with my child. But for now, I want you to experience this simple meditation that I did. Okay? Because we cannot give what we don't have. We have to have a big heart to affect anybody, especially our child. Okay, so put your tongue on your roof of your mouth, close your eyes. Imagine somebody gave you a beautiful 12 roses, very fragrant roses. What do you feel? You smile, right? Somebody recognized you, somebody loved you. Inhale and exhale slowly with your tongue in the roof of your mouth. Now we feel the love because those fragrant roses just expands our heart. Now imagine there's a downpour of beautiful rose petals around us. It landed in our hair, our cheeks, and then we are filled like a waterfall of rose petals, very fragrant. Smile. Now imagine your child or whoever you want to connect with Scoop these beautiful rose petals and shower the child with beautiful rose petals. Inhale and exhale slowly and verbally say, from my heart to yours, I shower you with tremendous love. Open your eyes. And how do you feel?
I'm looking at everybody, how they feel, my girl. I brought them all on stage to join you. How do we find out more about what you do?
Go to mamaconnector.com, mamachildconnector.com. We have a link. I have a free gift on how to slowly shed off these stresses because it could be little, but the accumulation could explode. So follow the steps there and go to my website, join my class, and join my online classes too.
I love that. Ellen, how has it been for you in this community?
Oh my God. As Sandy said, I've been to different classes, but this is the first time I'm really on board. I'm participating and I'm here. Before I really shy away. I was surprised because I teach every month. I meet so many people every month, but being on camera, being with people online was a different feeling. But thank you, Dr. Forbes Riley, and the community here. You made me more comfortable to share what I have shared.
Well, I appreciate that. You guys are the winners of our big summit, and it was by unanimous votes. We had hundreds of people on the summit who all voted for you. I am looking to do now another speaker, the first speaker trainee of 2025. And I would love each of you to just share not only about my personal teaching, which I think is very comprehensive, but why is being a speaker important to everything that you do in business? So, Christine, let's start with you.
I know that when you're presenting a product, whether it's a book or a program, there's an image that you need to convey and express. And I believe that you have given us all the confidence, the tools in our toolbox to be able to show up and not only promote ourselves, but promote our ideas, our inspirations, our products in so many different ways. I've been with you since June in a few different programs, and I've learned so much. So thank you.
What I love about you is that your whole demeanor and your energy has just completely elevated. I'm not going to say the word transform. You're always very beautiful, but rather stoic and a little distant. And now it is though we've literally opened up the shades and moved the sheer curtain away and we can truly see you. Anna Jay, when you first came into my world, I don't believe that speaking was even part of it, was it?
Oh, Forbes, you have opened up a whole new world for me. Things I never would have thought were possible. I've been behind the scenes so much that just to be able to step into the limelight, to feel the sunlight is such a blessing. Yes, ma'am, you have made an impact on my life.
So if you were to say to somebody out there who's got a dream, why speaking? Why get good at this skill?
Communication is so important. If we have a voice for a reason so that we can communicate with one another, but if we don't make that connection, what you have given to us is a way to make that connection. I was on a business smart business meeting recently, and I said I'm known as the confidence boosting diva, and the lady said afterwards, she said, that made me think, do I know her? Where do I know her from? And I thought, yay, Forbes Riley, that's my girl. It was so awesome. You have just opened boundaries that it's just changed my life. My daughter's gotten involved. It's like, okay, this is good. My grandson was watching the summit. He's 13 years old. I was so happy that he was there. My family's involved, Forbes, and it's just you making a difference by just being who you are to allow us to be who we are. So I thank you for that.
And it's been delightful to watch you from where when you first met me, think I just going to come and hear what she has to say to now I'm on stage as a requested speaker. You've got books, you're doing it. Same thing for you, Miss Ashley. At some point as mom, did you get a little lost in as moms can do. I remember being mired in my two children, and that's all I could think about. And it was school and doctors and playtime and dinner and baths. And the next thing you know, the day is gone. No time for you. How is speaking and really stepping into this, and you still have your family, how you've managed to do this and become quite the role model of it, but share with another very busy, slightly stressed out mom how you're handling all this.
Well, coming from the place of burnout into where I am now, I don't even want to say that it's a balancing act. I really don't like the word balance. I like more of the word harmony. Uh, it's plus my kids are a little bit older. I've got a couple teenagers now, but it's more of I needed to start showing up for me. And it had to start with the decision. So if you're kind of in the throes of that motherhood phase, if you don't know who you are, you don't know what your passion and your purpose really is, I encourage you, one, get around people that can help bring that out in you, but two, dig in internally. Being somebody that has done the next level branding that you offer and then speaker training, it really helped me dig deeper into what's there and find out that my story does matter. I think oftentimes as moms, we don't think that we have a story to share. We just think, oh, well, we're just changing diapers and wiping noses and just going about our mundane tasks as a mom. But in reality, you have so much greatness within you. You just need the right person that can bring it out and to help you find what it is that you're meant to do on this planet. So, I mean, my kids are very well aware of what I do. Do they always like it? No. Do they interrupt? Absolutely. But we just roll with the punches and we take it as we can. And I know that if I'm going to make a commitment, I'm going to honor that commitment. So that's the biggest thing.
Well, it's certainly, I've just been fun watching you evolve. It's been years now, and it's been really, I get to be mama over here as well. You know, Eli, you appreciate and you love people's stories. And when Ashley just said that sometimes moms don't, people don't realize they have a story. And I preach this to all of you listening, that whether you want to pitch a product, a service, an idea, you want to grab a speech, whatever it is you're going to be doing in life, that the best thing you can do is to harness the worst thing that ever happened to you. You know, I should ask Joseph too, you know, where he came up with the male female side. I've never asked him, but I'm going to surmise there's probably something that happened in the back that led him on this journey. But Eli, when it comes to stories, you're good at the book part. Now speaking, you have something interesting that you overcame to be a speaker that I think will inspire a lot of other people.
Yes, yes, yes. There, many people may have experienced, stuttering when they're afraid or nervous, but I stuttered all of the time. I couldn't get two words out without, I mean, it would take me literally 2 minutes. So in that, I should say, saying that, I was called to speak about 2 years ago. And, I'm like, are you kidding me? No way. No, I'm not doing this. This is nuts, you know. But I went about doing it anyway because of my faith and because of my father, you know. So I'll tell you about my faith and father at another time. But I had a mission. So I had a mission to speak and speak specifically to leaders and future leaders about their mission, figuring out what their mission is and telling their story. And by the way, in selling, you should tell a story. In everything if in encouraging and motivating, you should tell a story. And you help us to discover the makings of a story and what and the capacity that we have within us, You help us to bring that out. And so that stuttering problem. By the way, you should go back to my old podcast and check those out before I started with Forbes. Don't laugh, okay? But check me out now.
I got to tell you, it's funny because you mentioned something in your speech because there was not a touch of that when you spoke on the summit at all. And I love that the message of that, guys, is that if there's something holding you back, and we all have something, whether real or imagined, and if it is real, okay, but we don't necessarily notice it as much as you do. But to keep that from where you want to go forward is not acceptable in my world. Joseph, was I right on that something led you down your path? Wait, you have to unmute, my friend. He's on his phone, and that's such a hard
There we
way.
go.
There you are.
All right, I'm sorry. What was the question again?
Well, there's some catalyst that led you down the path of what you teach. Yes?
Well, I've always loved speaking, but I've never found the right coach. I've read a lot of books that have been helpful, but I always knew that there was a human side of it that you needed. You needed to have a one-on-one with a human being that is observing you and giving you tips. And by the way, if I can share something very quickly about that, you gave us a very practical tip not too long ago about things go wrong when you're speaking. You talked about when you got to the stage, your audio video people couldn't get your thing to work. Well, that's why I'm talking to you on a phone. My computer was working beautifully until this morning. For some reason, it just stopped. And I had to rush around. I thought, okay, well, this is something Forbes has probably gone through before. You're going to have these difficulties that pop up out of nowhere. I was completely prepared. Everything was ready to go. And whoops, no computer. So that's why I don't know how I got onto that subject, but that was a practical part.
And I almost demand this of my students because I have the same thing as we walk around this little bracelet we have called "What Would Forbes Do?" And that pretty much means when things all go haywire, and they will, that's to be expected. That's the crazy part about it. The audio won't work. The lights aren't there. The flight is delayed. It will happen. It's just a matter of when. And how gracefully you handle it starts to define not only who you are to yourself, but those watching you. And so we're grateful that you showed up. You looked and sounded just fine. And I will tell you that incident that you were sharing, the audio visual in front of 300 people was completely wacko. And they loved more than what I had to say, how I handled the situation in front of them. So people are watching. So what I meant though, real quickly, was that your subject, this is very interesting, because I'm looking at people who are teaching a variety of different things. I've met so many different entrepreneurs, but teaching male and female, that energy, is it based on something that happened to you?
Yeah, this is when you go through the traumatic life event of divorce and when you go through breakups, sometimes you just have to throw it away and start over again. I wanted mine to count for something. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to learn about this. I'm going to study it. And I've spent over 3 years now doing that. And the opportunities are starting to rise because there's a need. There's a lot of people who are going through the same thing I have gone through in the past. And it is so rewarding to be able to share that information and show or have a feeling that what I went through was worth something. It was worth it to have to go through what I went through. And you have been able to pull that out of me in a very unique way that is most appreciated.
The worst part of your story is the best part of your speech, best part of your pitch. I also shared something years ago, and I don't know if I should credit John Gray. I think it was an infomercial. I heard this little tidbit. Someone said that when one partner, usually it's the man, says, or it doesn't matter, says a nugget, like a little pebble, the other person hears a boulder. And I always remember that sentence, like, oh, honey, that just doesn't look good. You mean I'm fat? I didn't say that. It just doesn't fit you right. But when one says something and the other blows it out of proportion for no apparent reason, that seems to be a big issue. And I don't know if that's in your teaching, but I will say that I'm always very mindful in my life to go, well, wait. First of all, I didn't say that, or you didn't really say that. I heard it differently. So just give you my little nugget. And last but not least, Miss Ellen, I love how you showed up this time. You know, you brought up an interesting point that I would love to share with students in general because we are going to do another speaker training, and I only do a couple of these a year. Why did you lean in this time?
I always have the desire to go out and share my story and the techniques that I have been using all the time, that I have affected other people, even my clients, resolve their relationship issues, and even with their kids. So I feel comfortable with your community and you yourself, like how you encouraged me to express myself. I remember the first time you called me on stage, I even cried because I thought, like, really? Did she see me? I mean, is there something that am I worth sharing my story? Will everybody believe what I say? So those thoughts behind me has been gone since I've been immersed in your community. I'm comfortable talking to anybody. And I love the breakout rooms also because they recognize, they appreciate what I'm talking about. So I'm not talking about something that's impossible to do, right? So
Right.
thank you so much.
Well, you know, it's funny because if you're watching this on YouTube on video, you could be listening to it, but if you're watching it, and I suggest you go to my YouTube channel, there's some brilliant videos. You didn't realize it. You had everyone close their eyes. Now, sometimes speakers are very selfish. We're here to do our thing and would let other people do their thing. What I witnessed is that you were doing your exercise. Every one of our speakers on the stage, every one of your fellow students was closing their eyes and doing the exercise. And I brought them up on stage so that everybody could see the level of support even when no one's watching. We have
Thank you.
we have a couple of minutes left to the broadcast. I would love your thought for the world. You know, the world is an interesting place at the moment. It has always been. I think. Let me preface that by saying we are only alive for a few minutes in the whole grand scheme of things, and those minutes matter most to us. So these must be the most traumatic or crazy or amazing or not so amazing moments ever. But you know, you look at World War I or World War II, or you know, the Black Plague or the Spanish this, or having to come over on a boat for 4 months to get from Europe to America. Now we do it in 6 hours. Um, this is an interesting time. The last 4 years has been an interesting time. The next 4 years will be completely different. Also an interesting time. And I would just want to hear your thoughts for the world, given who you are and what you're experiencing. And so I'm going to start back with Anna J.
From my perspective, Forbes, I feel like I'm in overtime in my life. It's like a football game. 4 quarters are over. I'm in overtime to win this thing. And I have decided if it is to be, it is to be me. And it's my time to shine. I don't care what's going on in the world. I don't care what's going on in whatever's going on around. It's my time to utilize the gifts and abilities and talents that God gave me to be a blessing to this world, to leave a legacy so that I leave empty. I don't want to have the gift, to disrespect the gifts and abilities and talents that I have, to disrespect them by not pouring them into someone else. I'm here as an encourager of God's people, a speaker of life, and I just desire to just pour life into others. When I find something good, Forbes, I want to know who can I share it with. And so that is my take. In this time of my life at 76 years old, I'm not changing diapers. I'm not cooking dinner every day. You know, the hubby can wait sometimes. Is this kind of thing? Come on now, let me have some time to develop me. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm loving it with the GSD and everything. I am so in my element. And I'm so thankful for this community, for your family. It's just, I have no words. I'm just excited. Thank you so much.
I just have to say, I love you and thank you. You showed up, and we also don't know where you came from either, except this beautiful divine presence. I'm in business with both of my children. They're 22 years old, and they're young. They have their own attitudes. They could fly. They could be doing anything in the world they want to do, and both of them, of their own accord, have turned into me and said, "Mom, we appreciate all the sacrifices that you made. I didn't ask for anything. I didn't expect that after they got to a certain age that you see them on on the holidays, right? They both live here and work with my students. And Anna J is one of those women that my daughter fell in love with. And that is almost inexplainable from age to everything about you. Just you're different. Why would she do that? And the reason is because not only are you a beacon of sunshine, but you embraced that it's your time and that you needed her and her wisdom and what she brought to the table from GSD. And Riker is enamored with you. But the other thing that's interesting, when you find somebody to believe in you, you have to do the work. One of the reasons I work so hard is I don't have anything to prove to me. I've done so much. I can afford to do whatever I want. But I was slacking a little bit in the eyes of my children. They're like, well, Mom, how come you didn't achieve that? I'm like, because, it happens or you get older. And they're like, but you teach the opposite. Why aren't you living that? And so they've inspired me to live this. And I will say there was a gentleman, I was 34 years old. I was auditioning for E! Entertainment. And he looked at me, he's like, you just passed your prime at 34. And for a couple of years, I believed him because that's what we do. We listen to bullies. We listen to other people. I don't think he meant harm by it. In his warped Hollywood weird perspective, I guess that was true. I turned 65 in 2 months, and I think I'm just hitting my prime. And you know what? I'm grateful because if you peaked in high school, you peaked way too soon. Pass the microphone to Christine.
Thank you, Forbes. I have a simple message. I believe I speak for the mother, and not only mothers out there with children, but what you do to the mother, you do to the child, but also Mother Earth. Part of my mission here is to speak for Mother Earth, and what we do to her, we do to ourselves. So we're not separate from the web.
I love hearing that, Miss Ashley.
The biggest thing that I could say is you have a gift within you. Share it with the world. No matter how big, how small you think it might be, there's something within you. And don't let, like Forbes said, the bullies or the naysayers squash who you are.
Yeah. And how are your children reacting to all of this growth in you?
I don't know that they've necessarily said anything, if you will, about it. That might come later as they continue to get older. But I did have to giggle the other day when my 27-year-old son had sent me a text message, and I was like, he never texts me during the day. Something must be up. And my daughter-in-law had told me what he had said. He's like, yeah, I felt really weird texting my mom, but I needed advice, and I knew she was the one that would give it to me. So it's just one of those things that the fruits of my labor will come further down the line, and I'm okay with that.
I love that. Passing the mic to Joseph.
One of the things that we hear over and over from Forbes is don't think small or stop thinking small. And Anna, at 77 years old, has decided to take the world into her hands. And I think that you don't have to be 77. You can be 37.
She's only 76. Just don't give her the extra
Oh,
age.
sorry, 76. Anna's going to kill me when I
right?
see
She
her.
looks good for 70. No,
Sorry. 76. Let's redo this whole thing. Anyway, if you're 36 and your time has come, take advantage of it. You have the resources right now. You have the tools right there in the screen. The lady with the black dress, that's your tool, and the resources. Use that. And if you want to, I'm talking about Forbes, yeah. And if you're wondering, if you should do it, do it. Because you don't want to look back on your last days and say, gee, I wish I would have tried that. I don't have the ability to do it now. Do it while you can. And the Forbes Riley method will be of great help to you, I promise you.
I'm going to have you tweak that just a little bit because we are going to want to lift that. It's a great statement. Tell somebody, there's somebody out there right now who has never really even heard of speaker training, doesn't understand why. Give me 2 sentences why this person should indulge in this community and in this lady, like you said, Forbes in the black dress.
You don't want to have regrets. And regrets weigh a heck of a lot more than making a mistake or two. If you look back on some, this is more than 2 sentences, sorry. But if you look back on something and have a regret, it's going to be a much, much bigger problem for you as you get older. While you have the time now, do it now and get into it.
I love that. Thank you so much. Pass the mic to Ellen.
Yeah, in psychology 101, it's like it always starts from me. If I exude love, love will reverberate to everybody. Do unto others what you want others to do unto you.
Wow, it's not probably not the first time I've heard that, but I can never hear that enough because I don't think. Can you just say that again, guys? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, which means when you get mad or you cut someone off. I have a habit of this. When somebody cuts me off on the roadway, my first instinct is to go, "Hey, love you too. So sorry. You're probably distracted. You're thinking." While other people are like, "Oh," they give you the finger. They start yelling and screaming at you because they're having a horrible day. But if we treat people the way we'd like to be treated, I think the world would be a very, very different place. I love that.
Awareness.
Say again?
Awareness.
Awareness. But I love that your whole presence. I'm very excited to put all of your links to all. They all have free gifts for you guys, by the way. And last but not least, putting it back to Eli, the book guy.
Well, I believe that the children are the future.
Wait,
And
could you sing that for me?
I believe that I can't sing. Children are the future. Anyway, and something about my children. I have three boys, 29, 27, and 11. And the first two, they always thought I was an alien because I was speaking things that was so off the wall and nobody's talking about. And through the years, they've seen these things come up and happen. The future. My mission for the future is two words: R&R. I'm not talking about rest and relaxation. I'm talking about remind and refined. My job, my mission is to remind people how great you are. I want to say the F word, how effing great you are, and then to step into the mode of refining that greatness. And Forbes will help you to refine that greatness. You've heard about the work. This is the work. Let's do the work.
I appreciate that. And you use one of my favorite F words, and that would be focus.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, you guys, I know that and Forbesing it. Speaking of letters and meanings of words, you guys, it's taken 3 years and 30. It's taken 3 years of writing and 30 years of living to come up with a book called Pitch Secrets A to Z, which will be launched in about a month. I'm very excited about that. I think you're looking at some of these amazing students who've gone through the lessons that I've taught. We have 26 in this book that go from attitude, believe, and close all the way to Zoom. I couldn't have written this book before. That's my excuse because Zoom did not exist. So there you go. It would have been hard to have a Z at Zoo or Zipper. So I'm grateful that I waited, but I'm going to encourage you not to do that. Don't wait too long. Like Anna J said, we all have a little timestamp, an end date, an expiration date on our head. And you don't know if it could be tomorrow, it could be 30, 40 years from now. But if you believe there's an urgency to you get things out, you will stop procrastinating. You will flip the switch. You will get things done. You will choose to live a life that you deserve, that you want, and stop thinking about all the things that kept you from that. We in our community, we don't believe that. We take our right hand and we push the past all the way back where it belongs, way back there. Some bully in school, who cares? Mom and dad love you, but who cares? My future is so bright. I got to get going because I can hardly see it. And if I don't keep moving forward, you're just going to get stagnant. And you've met those people. Those people are repelled by my community. They don't choose to hang out, they don't hang around. As Ellen learned, when you lean in, you grow up. And so, on that note, I want to thank all of my guests: Ellen, Ashley, Eli, Joseph, Christine, Anna J, all of the other students who are cheering you guys in the background. You won the big prize. You got to share your message with the world. And I'm grateful to be the shepherd for that. And as always on Forbes Factor, we'll see you again next time. It is my favorite hour of the week. We focus on health, wealth, and happiness. And God bless you guys. We did it all today. Through Thank you so much.